Is interest rate policy growth an accident or a systemic process creating ongoing pressures for borrowers like yours? You are a borrower, planning for home ownership, managing mortgage and loans, believing responsible borrowing will secure long-term stability. But what if interest rate cycles contribute to mechanisms that increase borrowing costs and influence affordability? Today, we're analyzing interest rate cycles, the macroeconomic mechanisms of policy rates that affect borrowers through credit conditions and economic transmission. The data reveals the truth unmistakably. Fed funds rate cycles from 0% post-2008 to 5.5% in 2023, with mortgage rates averaging 7 to 8% in 2025, while home affordability indices at multi-decade lows. Stay with me to the end. This isn't isolated events. It's the clear analysis and path to financial independence that could help navigate these pressures. The explanation provided and experienced by borrowers like you is that interest rates are tools for economic balance, rising to control inflation and falling to stimulate growth. That cycles are managed for stability, with borrowing costs adjusting naturally. But look closer. Why do rate hikes consistently coincide with higher mortgage payments and reduced affordability requiring more income for the same home? Why do low-rate periods encourage borrowing that later faces resets? Why does normalization raise questions when costs compound for borrowers? Insight 1. The system doesn't need extreme rates to burden borrowers. It only needs cycles to shift borrowing costs over time. This isn't isolated events or unavoidable adjustments. It's a systemic process rooted in rate mechanisms that influence affordability through policy transmission. Interest rates aren't just numbers. It's the mechanism that affects individual borrowing decisions. Post-2008 zero rates fueled housing boom, 2022 hikes cooled it. The result? Costs grow, affordability adjusts. For borrowers believing buy when rates low, the reality is clear. The mechanisms have been in place, influencing outcomes over cycles. Intriguing? Yes. But who are the key players in this rate process? Who are the key players in this rate process? So you know you're not missing the bigger picture. It's not abstract market forces alone. It's central banks and policymakers who shape outcomes through rate decisions. Picture them as established participants in the financial system, adjusting rates while you, managing loans and mortgages, navigate the resulting costs. The process works through transmission channels. Rate changes influence lending rates, mortgage pricing, credit availability. Institutions adjust portfolios. Its borrowers feel effects later higher payments, reduced purchasing. Deep dive. Post-2022 hikes, 30-year mortgage from 3% to 8%, adding thousands annually to payments. Real-world impact, borrowers delay purchases, extend terms, reduce spending, while policy supports stability. It's continuing. Current signals rate cut expectations 2026, but prior hikes' lingering effects show process ongoing. Saifedean Ammous notes, rate manipulation distorts time preference. Lynn Alden notes, cycles influence borrowing capacity for households. Insight 2. Affordability doesn't vanish overnight. It erodes gradually as rates normalize from extended lows. History's pattern is clear low-rate eras encourage debt, hikes reveal burdens. These players shape outcomes as borrower budgets face sustained pressure. But understanding the process is the first step gaining clarity. Now explore the mechanisms at the core interest rate cycles, so you see exactly how they affect borrowers planning home ownership. It starts with policy goals. Inflation requires, hikes rates rise, borrowing costs increase. Money transmission facilitates. Banks pass to loans. Cycle continues. High rates cool demand, low rates stimulate. Visibility activates, mortgage rates follow, affordability shifts. Institutions get signals, adjust lending. Borrowers pay with higher payments. Everyday impact. Home purchase requires more income, refinancing less attractive, debt service rises. History shows pattern. 1980s Volcker hikes to 20%. Housing crash. 2000s lows fueled bubble. Current signals indicate continuation. Rate path dependent on data. Lingering high levels. Insight 3. The system doesn't require permanent high rates to change behavior. It only needs temporary hikes to reset affordability norms. Lynn Alden notes, rate cycles influence household leverage. Milton Friedman, interest rates matter for allocation. Insight 4. Borrowing costs aren't isolated. They compound through time, turning today's low rates into tomorrow's higher burdens. The process isn't speculation, it's systemic, influencing borrower opportunities over time. Think of it as rate flow, your borrowing decisions navigating broader currents. But here's the pivotal shift. You don't have to remain affected by this interest rate cycle process. Stop navigating as part of the current. Adopt the independent mindset. Understand the mechanisms, then position strategically. Conventional approach. Borrow when rates low, fixed mortgage, leaves you in the flow, your costs influenced before fully realized. Redirect instead. Question every low-rate opportunity narrative. The clarity comes realizing affordability shifts from rate mechanisms, gain independence, auditing exposure to cycle effects. Insight 5. Protection isn't timing rates perfectly, it's reducing reliance on variable borrowing costs. How much debt in rate-sensitive instruments? Shift to independence. Allocation outside cycle's reach. History shows affected stay in current. Independent thrive, preserving flexibility across cycles. Practical step: minimize rate-dependent debt. Prioritize assets resisting transmission. Insight 6. True borrower independence isn't avoiding loans. It's positioning where rate changes impact less. You're no longer in the flow. You're the one charting course in shifting waters. This isn't avoidance, it's pure clarity. You're positioned to turn mechanisms to advantage, emerging stronger from cycles. This is your initiation into true clarity. The deliberate path to financial independence from interest rate cycles affecting borrowers. None of this is financial, investment, or trading advice. It's purely educational macroeconomic analysis for awareness. Always do your own research and form your own conclusions. Bitcoin is digital gold, limited to 21 million coins forever. Halving every 4 years. No one can print more. Impossible to confiscate like 1933 gold. History has proven it outperforms every traditional asset class during fiat stress cycles, with multifold appreciation post-halving, such as over 10 times gains after the 2020 event amid unprecedented printing. The 2024 halving cut new supply issuance in half again, with 94% already mined, making it increasingly scarce over time, the only asset truly immune to inflation by design. In eras of rate volatility like today, this fixed supply property has positioned it as the ultimate tool for wealth protection, preserving value when borrowing costs fluctuate. Start your initiation. Read The Bitcoin Standard by Saifedean Ammous for the fiat parallels that will blow your mind, or The Sovereign Individual by James Dale Davidson, mapping the shift to individual sovereignty. Follow thinkers like Ben Cowan for cycle data, Lynn Alden for macro signals. It's actionable. Self-custody wallet, consistent dollar cost averaging into Bitcoin as your rate-independent anchor. This is the key to viewing money as your servant, not master. If this analysis has brought clarity, the drive to secure true independence, commit now to the next layer. Subscribe as your mark of joining this community of financial clarity seekers decoding the system together. The next insight is waiting.